world. I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned in to another live edition of Pirillo Picks. It's a daily show and tell. It's a part of the TLDR live broadcast. I do it every single weekday for my patrons. The patrons are tuned in live. Some of them are chatting. I gave them a choice in terms of what they wanted me to showcase, and they wanted me to showcase everything. So I had to kind of make a command decision, and today I'm going to be showing you the entire Disney series of Lego minifigures. This is the latest. I love these. I'm a minifigure man. Love them. Going all the way back to the first series, which has, by the way, that my showcase of the first minifigures from Lego, the series, over 1 million views. So if we can get over 1 million views for this video, I'd be even happier. But I will let them be the star of the show as I continue with this, and I'm going to kind of float out of frame, if only so they can be in focus. That is why we have the rotating, floating mirror for you to see all sides of these Lego minifigures. I traded some of the duplicates that I had over the weekend for some that I didn't have, but that left me needing about 6 more, and then I found these blind bags in the store and tried to use the bump codes this time around. Unfortunately, the bump codes didn't work very well for me, and I understand that they work well for some, but they didn't for me, because I bought 6 that I thought I had that I needed, and 4 of those ended up being duplicates. So then I went back into the store to try 4 more, but I actually felt around for unique pieces that I definitely want to talk through in terms of the experience of trying to build this set on my own instead of buying it all at once. I saved some money. I used a gift card, so it didn't really cost me anything, and I'm happy to be able to showcase them for you today, live for the patrons. But everybody else, the thing you got to keep in mind is these, if you're watching before May 1st, 2016, aren't officially available yet. So I was lucky to find them in the store and to be able to buy them. We're going to begin with Alice. As I float kind of out of frame to the side, this is really maybe not one of my, favorite characters in the entire Disney universe, but certainly I remember seeing Alice in Wonderland, and this was my first exposure to Alice in Wonderland. I appreciated that they had the Eat Me and the Drink Me, the potions that Alice used to get bigger and smaller. I'm more of a Jabberwocky fan. 'Twas Brig and the slithy toes did gyre and gimble in the wave. But they're not probably going to make a Jabberwocky Lego minifigure. That would be great, but probably not well represented. You see that she's got black shoes. She's got a bow that ties the apron or that part of her dress around. Is she wearing an apron? It looks like she's wearing an apron, quite honestly. I always envisioned it as an apron, but what do I know about dresses? Dresses aren't my thing. But very, very happy to have found Alice. Not in Wonderland, but now in my collection. We will move to the Cheshire Cat with his smile. I actually have a dupe of the Cheshire Cat as he comes into focus. This one was relatively easy to detect in the bag because I could feel around for the head, unique head, with his ears and the tuft of fur on top of his head. But the tail specifically was the giveaway. There are other tails in the series, duck tails. Oh, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But it was easy to detect the tail, the head, and the legs to know full well that it was the Cheshire Cat without having to resort to the bump codes. Very well designed, and I'm very happy to have a duplicate, if only because I can keep this in the collection and use the other one for toy photography, which I'm starting to do more and more and more and more of. Now we will move on to me, the boy who refuses to grow up. A adult, kind of-ish, Peter Pan. And he comes with 2 knives, and that is another easy way of telling Peter Pan apart from the rest, and that his head is unique. The hat, I do believe, the hat is separate from the head, but it's easy to tell because it comes to a specific point. It almost looks like it feels like a funnel, almost, if you're feeling it within the bag. But the knives, the smaller accessories, are kind of a dead giveaway. You can feel something small, and you can't tell what it is inside, but that is most likely going to be your Peter Pan. Very well designed. I love the fact that, now Lego is able to mix up the colors on arms and legs, further separating them from a lot of bootlegs that are starting to be released. That's one of the things that makes it very, very difficult to collect these days, especially loose figures, when you don't know if you're getting something that is genuine or not. But Peter Pan was one of the final ones that I needed to get yesterday. Now, with Peter Pan, we have Captain Hook. So you've got your protagonist, you got your antagonist. Yes, We've seen hook hands before in the Pirate series. The boots not printed all the way around, you might see, at least that I could tell you. It's white. Why it's white in the back right now, I don't know. But otherwise, a very well sculpted figure. The hair of Captain Hook and the hat are one piece, and this is probably the piece that's going to help separate Captain Hook from the rest. Potentially, if you can feel, although I can't say it's as easy to tell the difference between the hook and the hand, you might be able to tell that, but I think that the hair piece specifically is very, very, very unique in this particular series. But I like Captain Hook. Okay, that's Captain Hook. Do I have anything else to say about Captain Hook? I do not. Here's something that wasn't exactly unique, and I probably could have pulled the claw alien from Toy Story out from my collection if I could find it downstairs. This is not really new per se, because Toy Story was a series that was produced with Lego with these classic minifigures a few years ago. And I ended up getting a few sets, not all of the ones that I wanted, but, I got a couple of the characters that I did want. So the easy way to detect this particular character in all the bags is the head, because the pointy antenna in the middle is very, very unique, as well as the shorter or stubby legs, since this alien creature is definitely shorter compared to the rest of the characters. But very well designed. This is kind of like... This wasn't as interesting for me because, again, I've had this one before. I understand why they went with it, but I kind of would have wished for something more than Toy Story, quite honestly. Maybe they thought it would help sell the series. I don't know. I'd imagine, though, I can tell you this. These are going to be hot sellers, every one of them. Very hot sellers, and most likely will be continuing to explore the Disney character universe in LEGO minifigure form. So, Buzz Lightyear, another character, another figure that's not new. This is not new. What is new, however, is the fact that we've got a classic LEGO minifigure sculpted head. In the first Buzz Lightyear that we've seen, the head is more designed more like what Buzz Lightyear might be in Toy Story, just shrunk down to Lego minifigure sculpt. This what's interesting about this character, the blades or his wings are separate. I got dupes of Buzz Lightyear, if you might remember, and I took him in, and you can see his helmet goes halfway back. There's no second part of the helmet, and that was something that threw me off even when I was doing the live unboxing of these figures. And when I took him in to trade, I got all the way home, and the guy said, hey, he contacted me, over a Facebook Messenger, because I communicate with businesses that way. And he said, hey, the other half of the helmet's, I said, the one of the wings is missing. I'm like, what? So I tore this place apart for an hour, could not find the other wing, drove back, and it turns out it wasn't a wing that was he meant to say. He was talking about the second half of the helmet. And then I had to point out on the back of the instructions, really the directions that I gave him, I left him one, that Buzz Lightyear doesn't have a front part of the helmet, because it actually shows it here, and so I kind of wasted a trip getting back, but that's okay. I had to return an Ursula head that apparently fell out when we did some swaps. So either way, there's something to note about the Buzz Lightyear. Two things to note about the Buzz Lightyear in this particular series. Let's go ahead and move on to a character I know absolutely nothing about because I never actually saw Lilo and Stitch. I don't even know how to say it. I know how to say Stitch, but I don't. Is it Lilo? Like Leela or Lilu? There's a lot of Lees in fandom, apparently. Lilu, Lilo, Leela. I know all. I know of them by and large. I like the design of the character. I really do. Know nothing about it. But otherwise, I think it's something that it just looks awesome. It really genuinely does. Very unique, very well done, easy to detect in the bag. Although that being said, it could be simple for you to confuse Stitch with Mickey or Minnie, with their head sculpts, with their ears being what they are, because that's a whole head. It's just the whole head is sculpted that way. But is this going to get me to watch Lilo and Stitch? Lilo and Stitch. Thank you, live chat. I appreciate the education that you're laying down for me. Jedi is not yet of the age where we can get her to watch movies yet. Can't even get her to read a page out of a book. One quick way you can see the notches in his ear may help you detect this in the bag if this is the one that you're looking for. Otherwise, very well done. as a minifigure, certainly unique. And I wouldn't expect a full Lilo and Stitch series, so it's a great way of getting these figures out there in fandom. Lilo was not, however, produced in this series. He is a standalone. Is a standalone. So let's go to another standalone. Maleficent. Now, this one was a challenge until I realized one very important thing. First of all, I remember seeing Sleeping Beauty when I was younger, and man, that was a frightening movie. For a kids' movie, man, that stuff was dark. Dark, 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 dark. Maleficent is dark. And, now watching it as an adult, Disney had a dark period. Do you know a little, Disney's done some weird stuff. I hesitate to say anything because I don't know what age range is watching right now, but they did some certain kind of education. Disney did an official education film over diseases. That's all I'm going to say. You can Google it if you want to. You can Bing it if you want. DuckDuckGo. I don't care. So this is Maleficent. Anyway, her headpiece, it's soft plastic. This particular part, it's softer, not hard plastic like the regular plastic that Lego uses. But the piece that sets this apart, and this is when I realized I had Maleficent, rather than the Ariel that I grabbed two of, her skirt, her dress is one piece, and that's the only one that slopes in this particular series. That's the way to tell Maleficent out of the rest of the bags. You may be able to fill for the headpiece, but it's not as easy to tell as a skirt. It'll be one of the more bulky ones, though. Sleeping Beauty was not in this particular series. Let's go ahead and move back to the couples with Mickey. Now, I think this is going to be one of the hotter pieces. If they're individually, I think this is one people are chasing because it's Mickey Mouse. This is one that was relatively easy to tell, although between Mickey and Minnie, it was a bit of a challenge. I kind of got lucky. I didn't know when I was feeling around the bag because I was like, okay, I can feel the ears because the ear sculpts are the same. But I wasn't sure if I had Mickey or Minnie because, quite honestly, unless you can feel for every piece, sometimes it's it's a bit of a challenge. But this one's awesome. I have wanted the Mickey figure for quite some time. There are Mickey Duplo figures and Minnie Duplo figures that are currently available. I may end up getting them for Jedi. You can see Mickey's got a classic appearance. What I'd really like, personally, and I don't know if they'll do it, but I'd love to have a minifigure series of Mickey throughout the ages, going from Steamboat Willie to modern day and dressed in different ways. So I think, honestly, in moving forward, I think we're going to see Mickey and Minnie as the anchors for the future Disney minifigure series. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't continue to produce. I think they're going to be absolutely hot sellers, given Lego as a brand and collectors, and Disney as a series of brands, especially for collectors. These are amazing. Honestly, out of all of them, this is the one that I'm probably more excited about. And I would say Mickey, despite his very plain appearance, because he's so iconic, is one of my favorites. We got Minnie Mouse. So again, feeling in the bag, you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell unless you could pick up on the bow or the skirt. Those are the telltale signs that you've got a Minnie. If you feel the head and you're looking for a Minnie or separated from Mickey, you've got to feel for that bow or feel for something different in the skirt. The skirt is going to be more easy to detect in the bag. Although you don't want to get thrown off because remember, Alice also wears a skirt in this series. So don't just say, "Oh, I got Minnie." Well, you may not have Minnie. You may have Alice. So if you feel the skirt, feel for the bow. And if it doesn't have a bow, it's Alice. If it does have a bow, it's Minnie. You can go buy bump codes if you want. I'm just telling you, bump codes did not do wonders for me because they're not always perfect. But I tell you one thing that is perfect, the pieces in the bag, effectively. Minnie is a great compliment to Mickey. Let's go ahead and move on to other classic characters. Daisy to go with Donald. What I'd like to see in the next series possibly are Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I was a fan of Donald Duck comics when I was a kid. Old Donald Duck comics, even for the time my grandparents had them over at their place. Daisy is a great character, a great compliment to Donald. Now, if you can tell the side profile, Daisy's got a tail. It's a little piece that just goes in between the legs and the actual torso, and that's one way of detecting. You'll feel this like really weird part in the bag, but then you'll go to another weird part in her mouth. Her mouth, both Donald and Daisy's mouth open. It kind of feels like there's two. It feels like this in the bag, and it feels like, okay, how else do I explain that? It feels like this in the bag, Very odd. Could not feel the eyelashes. No, the eyelashes are definitely just a part of their printed on to the actual plastic. The bow is another telltale sign. Telltale sign. Telltale. Anyway, you can tell it's Daisy when you got the bow, you got the bill, and then you can feel the tail. And then you notice the printing that Lego has perfected, going from the knee on down. The yellow, but her the pink shoes that she's wearing do not go all the way around. I expect Lego to address that at some point in the future. So Daisy's a nice compliment, and I think very, very, very good to have in this first series. They got to have another series, if only because you got other iconic characters like Pluto and Goofy and the Phantom Blot. Am I the only one who liked the Phantom Blot? Am I the only one who remembers the Phantom Blot? Probably. Aladdin. One of my favorite Disney cartoon movies of all time. I was happy to get him yesterday. Did not get him in my first round of picks. And that was, I can't tell you why I liked the cartoon so much. It was so different. I saw it in college. I was that old. And loved it instantaneously. I think the score, the music is really what helped set it apart. And that was something that, I think really pulled me into a lot of those older Disney movies. And I got nothing against Frozen. I mean, the score is okay, but I'm an Aladdin, The Little Mermaid fan. The music that was done in those films, not so much Beauty and the Beast. Sorry, not sorry. But that was just how I felt. It was like something that just, certain movies just leap out certain ways. And it was just, I thought the animation was beautiful. I thought the plot, the story was beautiful. I thought the characters were beautiful. I just liked it. And so Aladdin remains one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. Certainly the favorite Disney animated movies of all time. And I don't know if that really is something that resonates with you or not, but that's Aladdin. Now, to go with Aladdin, we also have the genie. Aladdin is, by the way, detectable from the lamp. You got to be careful with the lamp. This is where I was going, because the genie also has a lamp. You notice he's got his wrist guard there, or wrist guards printed on the outside, kind of a gold color. What's easily detectable in the genie is his separate headpiece, the ears. He's also got this kind of the feather that's coming out of the top of his head, or what would be a feather, and then his torso specifically, like a ghost-like torso. Very, very, very unique, the only piece in the series. So feel for the torso. If you feel the torso, you got the genie. Don't feel for the lantern or the lamp, because if you do, you're probably going to get, either Aladdin or the genie if you haven't felt around for those two pieces. Moving on to a newer movie. This is Syndrome, the bad person, the antagonist, not protagonist, in the movie. And I think this one's going to be another chase character for a lot of people, specifically for the headpiece, the hair that kind of goes off, which looks great. It looks very well done. These look like by and large Disney characters that have been minifigified. Although what's interesting here, just to point out, as a stark contrast to, let's say, Stitch or Daisy or Mickey or the Toy Story alien, the headpiece, the head is a classic Lego minifigure head. They didn't actually style the whole head with the hairpiece, and I don't know what that line was. Like, why didn't they just make a unique head for every one of the characters in this series? I don't have an answer to the question, but just so you know, it's just kind of, I thought it was interesting that they kind of mixed it up with the Disney series. I liked The Incredibles. It was okay. I'll probably watch it again and again and again. Beyond the Hair. Sorry. The other way of detecting, you've got a cape that's soft goods, but don't be thrown off because Maleficent does as well. And then you also have this little piece, I think it's like Evil Plans here. The Omnidroid 07, the plans, but the other character, and this is how I found Mr. Incredible, because he also has that piece, this snot piece for 2x2 snot flat. His hair is unique. He stands like a regular minifigure, regular head, but that piece, the thing that got me, this was the last one I needed to find in the stack, which allegedly in a case there are 3 full series of the Disney minifigures. So there's a good chance that you can find a full set if you can get to the store. You can save a lot of money. Like I said, I used the gift cards that I earned courtesy of go.tagjag.com/free apps and go.tagjag.com/free points. They didn't cost me anything. It was a mini adventure. But that was the way that I got Mr. Incredible. with that particular piece he's holding on to this poster effectively in his hand. Very well done. Let's go ahead. Oh, I totally messed it up. I should have grabbed Donald after Daisy. Sorry about that, everybody. Sorry. My bad. I skipped Donald. I got too excited. Again, his bill is a part of his head, a unique sculpt. The hat is one piece. It goes onto the top of his head. There's a little hole basically in the top of their head, that just a tiny little hole. Not like a traditional, like a Lego stud that you can place something on top. It's just a little pinprick of a hole to accommodate bows or these hats like this. And it worked out well. Donald also has a tail. That's a piece that's inserted in between the torso and the legs. He's got his bow that's painted on and printed on. But I think it's the hat is the dead giveaway. Apart from the head sculpt, that's going to help you detect whether or not you've got a Donald or a Daisy in the bag. Donald, I'm gonna say it. My top two, the classics, man. I'm gonna go top two being Mickey and Donald. Loved them as kids. They're iconic, man. What can I say? Ursula, probably the most easy out of all of them to detect, if only because her base, her tentacles. One piece, gigantic. Like there's no screwing this up. You've got Ursula because of that. Her torso actually fits inside, and you've got the Triton that she's holding on to. Her headpiece, softer. But like I said, the dead giveaway with Ursula is specifically the tentacles. And that's the way to pick her up. Some people, I'm in a toy photography group, and that was the figure that people wanted most. I don't know why. It was just it was a thing. It was a thing. They want Ursula. Hey, knock yourself out. Who am I to argue? Now, the one that I have duplicates of Ursula because I was stupid. Not because I didn't want one. I only wanted one. I didn't want two. If I had my advice before I picked out another Ursula, watch out for those tentacles. I have duplicates of Ariel. The Little Mermaid is another one of my favorite Disney animated features. I don't know if I want to say it's a classic now, but I remember seeing it when I was older, not in the theater, watched it on VHS, of all things. How I ended up with more than one Ariel is beyond me because she has so many freaking unique pieces. She's got the gem that's sitting inside the shell that opens or closes. Her fishtail is also another, possible unique giveaway because it kind of curves and you can feel that. And then her hairpiece. Like, if you get a duplicate of Ariel or Ursula, don't be stupid like me, because there's just so many ways of avoiding it. Suffice to say, I now have some extras to trade, to hold on to. I'm not likely going to build another series, which I could probably do to sell online, but I don't like, that's not necessarily my favorite thing to do. But, happy to have Ariel. Happy to have every single one of these, honestly. This is, definitely going to go down as one of my favorite series to collect, the Disney series. The next one that I really want in terms of these Lego minifigure series is probably going to be Star Wars. Whether or not they actually do that, I don't know, because, Star Wars makes a lot of money selling the figures in actual sets rather than individually. The Simpsons have been fun to chase, and I expect to see more Simpsons in the future as well. I'm trying to get all of them on. I don't know if I can do this. Wow. The great thing about them coming with stands, by the way, is that none of them necessarily fall off or fall over unless, I really screw things up. So I'm just going to give you a rotating view of all of them once again as I continue to... should I move him back just a bit so you can see him a little better? There we go. That's a little nicer. I like that. Fun series to collect. I will continue to collect Lego minifigures. I also adopt minifigures if you have some that you want to get rid of. I have a home here that would happily accept just about any minifigure out there. But right now, I got to move on to answer questions with my patrons, talk about today's news, generally geek out. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to see the rest of TLDR, ask me questions or what have you, head over to chrispirillo.com and become a patron right now. Today's free podcast highlight was brought to you by all of my active patrons from chrispirillo.com. If you want access to the full TLDR episodes, both audio, video, past, present, and future, which can be up to an hour long or longer, with even more tech insight from me every weekday, plus other bonus content without ads, and support me at the same time, you can sign up to become one of my supernomies too. This is just a brief taste of what I'm producing for you daily. Again, get more through chrispirillo.com.